Okay, so this last exercise that we're going to talk about is something, it's not necessarily like a game we play, it's more, it's more like
Life
a
practice.
scheduling game,
Yeah.
more like a life practice. But we're calling it relationship fasting. And it's something, especially lately, that's been really, really, really important to us. Um, and so I just want to talk about it a little bit. There's not really much to demo because it actually is something that we do over the course of like hours or
You can
days
actually
or
leave the
weeks.
room.
You could actually just leave, right? But yeah, so I just want to talk a little about our experience with it recently,
Mm-hmm.
um, and and why it's important to us. So I'll just start and say I I think the term relationship fasting is a really good one because it actually I if you've ever done fasting and experienced the benefits of fasting, it's very similar. What fasting does for me, it helps me really appreciate the thing that I'm fasting from. It helps me really slow down and understand how I'm being with that thing. So I'm taking food, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to actually understand how I'm being with food because I'm not following any impulses to eat. And then when I fast from my relationship and then I come back to it, it's I really get what choices I'm making to be in the relationship, and I have a much greater appreciation for her and for us and what this relationship does for my life. And so we've done fasting for an hour, half a day, full day, a week, 10 days. More recently, Paula, as we've said over and over again in these videos, she went to Vipassana meditation, which is a 10-day silent meditation. It's also cell phone free. So she was totally out of touch for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually really interesting because we've been apart before for days and weeks, but I've always had cell phone and always had connection. So this was actually I felt like it was way more powerful, and so I was really blown away at how great that was. It was tough, I really missed you, and but it transformed a lot and allowed me to um, also return to myself and just rediscover what's important to me because a lot of times in relationship I get and she does too I get really caught up in us and I forget
Mm-hmm.
about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah and I find that a lot of times when I'm more feeling stuck in our relationship, maybe what we really need is space from each other to just come back to ourselves because the problem isn't that we're not connected. The problem is that we're not connected to ourselves. We're both connected to, we've never been disconnected when we're both connected to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we may choose not to be in the same place physically because we're connected to ourselves, but we've never been disconnected by being connected to ourselves. And so that's one of our priorities. And I think one of the ways we do that is by taking time apart.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to say about the relationship fasting that's been important for you?
Yeah, for me, the most amazing gift of that is that it's almost like the life that I get to live with him, it gets completely taken out of the picture. It's like all of a sudden I get to be with me and I get to be with life. I get to be with the mystery of it all, the magic and wonder of it all. And I don't source myself from the usual day-to-day habits or like, okay, I know now we gotta eat together, we're gonna do this or that. I actually get to be really present with me and really present with every moment to moment to moment to moment. And I just get to dive so deeply into me. And but what I mean by me is not even me as a personality, as an identity, but like what is life ultimately? Like what is the ultimate truth of life, reality? I just go so deep. It's like going from that surface to the depth of the ocean. and everything takes on new colors, new meaning, and then I get to discover all these things that I don't usually think about, and it just occurs to me so easily. And I actually, what's interesting about us, that when we part or separate or fast, I never miss you. Usually when we live together, I'm the one who's longing for connection more than he does. I think I want us being together, or at least in the past that was true.
Mm-hmm.
That I wanted to be more with you, that you wanted to be, than you wanting to be with me. But when I leave him and I go away, it's like immediately the moment I leave the house, it's like boom. I don't miss you. I don't need to call you or text you. I'm just so sourced in myself, and life is just so amazing and so rich. There's just so much gratitude, because I forget. It's so easy for me to lose that when I'm with you, because then I want to please you, or I want your love and approval, or I want sex, or there's these shallow needs and desires that fill my space. But all of a sudden, I don't need anything. It's like a space that I go into that I don't need anything. I don't desire anything. Everything that's right here is so rich. And I don't need to fight for anything. I don't need to want anything. I'm just free. I feel like a complete freedom, and like just living in this ultimate truth experience, and everything is so magnificent and significant. And I feel like the most important piece is that I don't need anything or want anything. I'm just completely happy with who I am each moment, and completely responsible for myself too. I find that in relationship it can be easy, or at least in the past, to like, have these little, let's say, oh, upsets on the inside. Like, let's say I feel nervous, I feel scared, I feel sad, and on the surface it's just so easy to blame you when you're around, or like, oh, it's Dave. But when you're not there, I just get to be with the experience as it is, and me, and there's no one to blame. It's just me. It's my experience that's moving through me, and there's such rawness to it, and richness to just being with the experience as it is. And I don't escape it. I don't try to escape into movies or addictions or sex or love or touch. I just be with it, and it's so empowering for me to be with the experience as it is inside of me, whatever that is: fear, anger, disgust, just whatever moves through me. It's just so empowering to be with it the way it is, and not try to change it or fix it or escape from it. Just like, it's so amazing. I just so love that. Um, and then I found that it used to be very hard for me to be with it in your presence. It's almost like somebody's watching, so you can't. It's like, how are you acting when somebody's watching versus when you know that nobody's watching? And so I know that there's certain experiences that arise inside of me that if someone is around and sees it, I may want to hide it. I may want to maybe not be really truthful to myself. Maybe I'm going to be more polite than I really want to be. Maybe I'm going to hug you when I don't really want to hug you, but when I'm with myself, each moment is just so truthful. Um, and I love that. And then when I do come back, I find myself so much more resourced to have space for you and your emotions and your experiences. And it's not even that I miss you. I never do. I just have appreciation.
Yeah.
There's just so much appreciation for the being that you are, the gifts that you bring to me, and then I get to see your humanness. I think before this experience at Vipassana, I didn't see your humanness. I thought that you're like, wow, you're just like so peaceful. And now I get to see your frailties more, and I have way more space for you to be scattered and afraid, and to
I think
hold
it's
you.
the space thing that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you do have a ton more space for me in a way, like you couldn't see what you didn't have space for in a funny way before.
Right. Yeah, because I didn't give myself space. It was like before. I know that prior to the retreat, it was like I didn't have space. There was no space for me. I felt like I don't have space for me. I can't be with me. I need to do this. I need to clean. I need to cook. It was all about external things and our relationship and maintaining it. But then being 10 days with me and my experience, I come back. It's like, okay, this is number one. Number one is being truthful with my experience. And then out of that, I have space for everybody else. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, baby.
Mm-hmm. And then, another thing is it's like coming back and integrating and actually seeing the choices that we were making in the past that are now seem untruthful. Like even a simple example of like eating dinner, for Valentine's Day at 7:30. I know that it's like up to me. If it was up to me, I would eat at 5 because 7:30 is too late. But then I sacrifice and I say,
Oh, that's why
okay,
you mentioned that.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
You can still maybe change it and just leave super early. It's okay.
yeah. I'd prefer that. But at least now I know what's more truthful to me, and then I see where I do sacrifice. I see
Yeah.
where I, choose to ignore what's true.
I'd love to eat at 5 if we
Mm.
could. Let's see if we can make that
Mm.
happen. Thanks for watching. If this is the last video you're watching, I'm not sure how these are going to arrange themselves, but um, yeah, we hope you use these and they benefit you the way they benefited us. We just kind of made them up. I mean, certainly inspired by a lot of other people. But if you've made any games up or made alterations to them, and it's really worked out, send us an email. It'd be really cool to hear from you. Our email is actingLikeKids@gmail.com. That's our couple email address. And yeah, we love you.
All the best to you.